Well, it was a victory for prosecutors yesterday in Virginia, but even they said a guilty verdict for former Governor Bob McDonnell represented a sad day for everyone in the Commonwealth. So what went wrong with the legal team's strategy when it came to selling their message to the jury? And what does this mean for any business wanting to lobby elected officials? Is it game over for buying favors in Virginia and beyond? Joining us today, Richard Levick, one of the nation's top PR and public policy strategists. His eponymous firm advises clients in Washington and worldwide how to effectively communicate and sell their message, and when they fail, how to win back public approval. Richard Levick, welcome back. I was focused on what counts he could get acquitted by, so that the governor, I felt like, was still trying to position himself for, in his mind, someday running for office again. That's not going to happen. He's probably going to prison. What went wrong? Well,
first of all, we don't know if he's going to prison. There's going to be an appeal.
But I will say, I will be surprised if this judge does not try to make an example of the governor and give him some prison time, but we'll see.
Well, you've got the appeal process. And remember, it is, first of all, a very sad day. This is, after all, the office that Thomas Jefferson had at one point.
And Bob McDonnell was a popular governor. We were all looking forward to covering him in a race for the presidency. It is a huge fall, and an epic one.
It is a huge fall, and maybe that's why he didn't take the sweetheart deal that was offered for both him and his wife. And
they offered him, take one felony count, plead guilty, we won't charge your wife with anything, and we'll only charge you with one count. And he said, no, I'm taking my chances, I'm going to court.
And like a tragic episode of Law and Order, you know, taking the wrong step. First of all, let's take a look at the judge's instructions to the jury. They were broad. They increased the definition of what official acts are. And so I think that when you ask the question, what could the lawyers have done differently, I'm reluctant to criticize them. I think that, one, they had the opportunity for a good deal, and two, in trial, they were arguing to the law. But the judge said it's beyond official acts. And I think that what that means is the knee shaking you hear right now as governors in 49 other states concerned, what business as usual activities are we involved in that the federal government may investigate?
And every lawmaker in Virginia, because I've said all along, the biggest problem at this trial were what was allowed under the law. The law in Virginia allows unlimited gifts to spouses and children. It allows unlimited gifts to the officials during the time that he was governor, but you had to report it, and you couldn't do any official acts. So as you say, once they broaden what an official act is, frankly, if I were Johnny Williams and I spent $190,000, I want more for my money than a meeting and not getting all my phone calls returned. On the other hand, it looked bad for the governor to be taking all those gifts. So from the optics perspective, you are a pro at branding things. It was a bad brand to be in a Ferrari and wearing a Rolex when you're representing people who are losing their jobs during the recession.
Oh, that's always the first thing we recommend to our clients. Don't drive a Ferrari while wearing a Rolex.
But, you know, especially if it's not yours.
And, you know, but you're right, the optics are extraordinary. It's circumstantial evidence. It's emails at the wrong time, right after meetings and events and donations. Emails that probably staff would have stopped the governor from sending in the light of day. But it's not. There are no official acts. There's no legislation. There's no appointments. So it is tragic, and I do think that it is sort of the long arm of the law. And then we get down to the optics. How do you deal with those pictures? And then the wife shaming became a real challenge.
Was that a mistake?
You know,
or was it the only option they had?
It may have been the only option because they were trying to disprove a conspiracy here, but at the end of the day...
And she wouldn't go to jail for taking the gifts. She would go to jail for lying about the gifts.
Well, and what you have here is it's as if Bill Clinton tried to make it Hillary Clinton's fault about this woman called Monica. And, you know, not a good argument here. But, you know, here's the lesson, I think, for politicians, which are we have to be very careful about our private moments, the moment in the Ferrari, the moment in the Rolex. Those aren't horrible pictures, but they're just, as you say, the optics are so terrible when in a courtroom you see that. And, you know, in the soap opera atmosphere, I sort of feel like it's the young and the Ferrari-less, is which this case has become all about.
And he said, hey, I'm a normal guy. It's fun to be in a Ferrari. Well, guess what? You're not a normal guy. They hold public officials to a higher standard. There's a reason for that. As I said, I liked covering Governor McDonnell, but you have to give up some things if you want to hold public office. It is a privilege. It is an honor. What happens now? What do you tell your clients? I know this isn't applying to you specifically, but if you had a client who was used to doing business as usual in Richmond and used to doing gift giving, buying big meals, things like that to curry favor with lawmakers, it's still legal in Virginia. There's still a lot of wiggle room. Would you tell your client, hey, still go by what the standard practice is, or would you tell them doesn't matter whether it's illegal or not, stop doing it?
Two answers to that. One, we have always told our clients, steer clear of the gray areas. And although what things may have been legal in Virginia, they were not legal on the federal level. And remember, it's the federal government stepping in. How ironic at a time you have Citizens United in the Supreme Court of the United States saying, donate away. You've got the federal government investigating and maybe criminalizing heretofore business as usual activities by governors. So stay away from the gray areas. But I think for clients writ large, it's a revolutionary statement, which is that it used to be that donations, lobbying, and advertising were a way to control the whole message.
15 seconds.
It's just not, it's just not that way anymore.
Not going to be business as usual. And I think people now sadly think everyone does it. They'd be surprised to even learn that now Congress has a $25 gift limit. All politicians are going to have to refocus on how they brand themselves in the wake of this verdict. A very sad day for Virginia and beyond. Richard Levick, thanks for giving us your expertise. Stay with us. We'll be right back.